Roll call. During roll call, you should take just a minute, introduce ourselves to Andy, tell her a little on how long we've been on the board and a quick reason why we're on the board. I'm Tim Schalik. I'm a representative of outside the city limits of North Plains. So I live up on Mason Hill Road out here. I've been a board member for about 4 years now, coming up on my 4th year. And I'm the chairman, and I believe the reason I'm on the board is I believe, and I know the city of North Plains believes and takes a lot of pride in the library. And I believe that the library in rural communities is extremely important and contributes to the community. And so it's my way of giving back to the community, so.
Okay, that's a new one.
You want me to go next? Okay. I'm Bridget Sorensen, and this is my 2nd term on the board. I'm also a volunteer during the week. And I second everything he just said about libraries, that they are so vitally important to, especially smaller towns, you know, like this one.
I'm David Hatcher. I don't know if I need to introduce myself yet. I've been on the board now 2 weeks.
No, but you had a past. You can tell us about your past a little.
Oh,
No, did you have 2 terms in the
I've
past?
had 2 terms in the past. I'm on the
Yeah.
board of the Friends of North Plains. I'm on this board. To me, community service is key to my heart. And this is, you may not know, as a mayor previous. And so this is a way for me to continue my community involvement. And in a great place, an important place in the community.
Hi, I'm Emily West and I serve as your early literacy specialist. And I started at North Plains as a volunteer as well. And I've been in literacy my entire professional life, adult literacy and children's literacy. And I always have loved the library so much that when I was little, my dad had passed away when I was 5 years old of stomach cancer, and my mom had to work very long hours to make the money, make ends meet. And I would go to our community library and sit and hang out, and I felt safe and loved, and I got to do all sorts of fun things and check out great books and do everything for free. And so when I was volunteering here, I thought, I never want to work at a library because I love it so much. I never want it to feel like a job. Oh, right? It's like, and then I lived here. I'd moved from Beaverton and I said, oh gosh, I just love this library. And I finally got to work as a library assistant at first. And then they knew I had some early literacy background, adult literacy background, and I had been doing some book clubs and some early childhood literacy programming as a volunteer. And so I eventually got hired as an early literacy specialist.
We created that position during the pandemic
Yeah.
to address the fact that no one was in preschool and it was a big need. We already knew we were a preschool and childcare desert in North Plains. And then it got even more critical,
Yes,
right? And so
absolutely.
the community supported us creating that position. It's really had an impact. So
It's
as you will hear.
fantastic. I will hear more, but I would just say I love North Plains and I'm just thrilled to serve as the early literacy specialist. And so thank you for having me this evening.
Thank you.
I'm Donna Medica, and this is my finishing up in June, my 1st term, I believe, yes. I've also been an employee in the past. I've also been on the Friends in the past. I've also been a volunteer in the past. I live outside of North Plains also. I'm up Old Pilgrim Ridge, so I'm one of the out of town representatives because we can have 3 out of 7 can be out of town.
Right,
So,
right.
I'm out of town also.
yeah.
Okay.
So we represent all areas. So-
Very good. Our service area goes all the way up to Columbia County.
Yes.
Columbia County. Yep.
Wow.
It goes all the way up to the county line and it goes, it's right now, the way they have it, it's north of 26 only, but, it's probably like 15 or 16 square miles, our actual service area that we're assigned from as a member of the county library system.
Okay, hi, I'm Nandu.
Back to you.
No, before I think it's been so long since I spoke English, so I forget some words. So I'm Nandu, and I've been on library board for 1.5 years now, probably.
Mhm.
I moved to North Plains 2.5 years ago to the New Brenthill community. And I just love library, I just love books, and I want to be a part of the community, I want to uh, be a part, so I joined in the library board.
And Andy attends book babies on
Yes.
Friday.
And you have children.
Yes, I have a,
Who's now
Son.
walking?
he's now walking.
Walking and running, yes.
He's one, he just turned one a couple of weeks ago.
And she was the first house occupied in.
In Brenthill community. yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome.
Okay. That's good.
Thank
We
you,
have,
everybody. I texted Larry. to
we
see.
have two other members, they were joining us, but soon.
Yeah, Alex
Ally's
excused.
excused, she's an elementary school teacher,
She is, she's an elementary school
and she has to
teacher.
work tonight.
And she's in town,
And in town, Larry's in town.
correct.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I just hope I didn't mess up the Zoom or something.
And we had been only 6 for a while until we found David and he decided to come back and help us out, so. Okay, so I imagine, I'm assuming that everybody's read the minutes from March. And looked at the agenda. Did we have any additions to the agenda or any changes?
I did email out
That
just
Larry
that.
had, but that was sort of part
my
of what we
assistant
were discussing anyway,
principals.
right?
I mean, it was already on the agenda. We
Yeah.
don't add agenda items in library board after 5 PM on the Friday before,
Right.
but, yeah, so
Okay.
we don't add new ones at that time. We can move them around or whatever.
So can I have a motion to accept the consent agenda?
I make a motion that we accept the consent agendas.
I'm not gonna vote on this because I was here at the meeting, but I was not on the board.
All right,
I was here.
okay.
Thank you.
So Brenda has seconded, made a motion to approve the consent agenda. And
Donna.
Not a second.
we
Oh, all in favor.
Co-chair.
I'm co-chair.
As Donna has a second, do I have all those in favor?
I,
Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Okay. We do take our notes, our minutes, with an AI device, which has helped us. Well, we used to fight over who got to take it.
No, we didn't fight over it. Everybody.
So AI, we've all waiting for AI to improve our lives, but it has improved our lives here.
That's good.
Yeah. Okay, we've all met Mandy and we'll have you on the agenda a little later. We'd like to give you a little time to think of it. Just tell us a little about yourself, what you would, any questions you have throughout the meeting, make sure you ask. And then just what your plans are for how you see your plans are for the library. That's what what you think about it and what you would like to see happen. And if you're happy with the way things are, then that's all you need to say too, so without putting any pressure. Okay, now we'll move on to Robin's reports.
As I look at the agenda, I see that we have public comment.
Oh,
and I-
public,
and
I'm
then-
sorry.
And then Mandy introducing
You're right,
herself.
you're right, I meant
Um,
to skip it. So is there,
Maybe like record.
I don't think there's any public,
there's no.
I have not gotten any before the meeting, and let me just check again to see if anyone has joined us. No.
sorry about that. And, okay, now we'll move on to your report.
Number 7 on the agenda is Mandy introducing herself, I believe. Unless
I just,
you wanted to move that?
oh, I misread, I'm having a bad night, I misread. Oh, I had her during the update.
Oh, that is correct, the ex officio update is there.
Yeah, that's what
But
I
I
thought.
had as number 7, her introducing.
Okay,
herself, but-
so I was gonna do it all at that time, but
Well,
you're welcome to introduce yourself now.
We should probably, yeah, stick to the agenda just since we approved it.
Right, my name is Mandy Hagedorn. I am a new city council member, as of January. I've been a longtime resident, 14 years. Books have played a big role in my life. My grandma growing up was the Forest Grove School District librarian many years. My favorite thing to do, going over to her house in her office, she had a curated children's library, and so I always loved to go over there and play with her knickknacks and look through over all of her books, and I may have stole a few too. But I was always had that luxury of going over reading with grandma, and I had a lot of books growing up myself. My husband's mother was a reading teacher
Oh,
and for the Washington, Auburn, Washington. And so books played a big role in his life too. We like to go to Barnes and Noble, and we buy way too many books that we can't even keep up with it. So
talk to the friends, so be happy to unload some of those.
Yeah, we need, that's one of the things we're struggling is getting donations.
although I will keep you guys full.
Yeah, that would be very
My
cool.
nightstand is stacked. So books play a really important role in lives, and it's just a critical thing to, to you learn and figure out how to do things, fix things. I'm impressed seeing all the classes that we offer here in North Plains too, and I think that interactive element is really critical to bring people in and share new ideas, and I've always been impressed seeing all the new stuff that's coming up here too. So I think keep up the classes. I think that's great to expose more people and attract more people here. And even fixing things. I've been the kind of the DIY fixing and keeping your items. Sustainability is a huge thing too. And there's so many classes that I wish I could attend. In fact, there was an estate planning class. And I was unable to attend, but hello.
Maybe just introducing herself. Elaine is one of our volunteers joining.
Good.
Thanks for being here. So I would say, you guys are doing great. I think you're doing, keep up the good work and momentum. And I think leaning into the classes is really a great thing to do, especially for being in a rural area and community. It offers great service to our youth.
So we thank you for that, and with the reorganization of some of the funding with the library, with the county library cooperative, we hope that we'll be able to, if things work out, hope to be able to offer more classes, because we think that's a real value to the community, and it's been a bit of our focus for the last couple of years. So thank you. Okay.
Okay, now. Oh, stop sharing. Oh, that's when it's stop sharing. Elaine is here as a member of the public, because she, volunteers during Emily's classes.
Absolutely, a lot.
Oh, I guess I am sharing. Okay. All right, well, this is the time for my director's report. I had some really cool items on there this time. I can pull it up. I'm sharing my screen. I'll pull it up on the screen for you. Oh wait, yeah. We try to go as paperless as possible and not print everything for all the packets. Yeah, so we have National Library Week coming up, and one of the ways we observe that is, which we started last year, was having an in-service for staff on Library Workers Day. And so we are doing that again. We're gonna open 2 hours late on Tuesday, April 8th. We've put out some notice about that. And we have a facilitator coming in to help staff with visioning and goals for their own professional development. and the Friends of the Library are providing breakfast for the staff.
Nice.
Really wonderful. There's also, we're gonna put some, I haven't told you this yet, but some like somatic exercises sprinkled in there, which is supposed to help everyone's mental health.
Nice.
And I had a great meeting with the facilitator this week about it. And then we have the North Plains Food Bank Drive. Right now, we're a drop-off location, so we have that bin in our vestibule. It has some nice signs on it, and we are pleased to be participating in that. Our little vestibule can do about one thing at a time, and so, you know, we kind of rotate through different things. And then we had a second blood drive for Bloodworks Northwest this past Monday, and they are a really wonderful organization to work with. They're so self-sufficient. And they had 10.
How was the turnout?
They had 10 blood donors, which I think is about the same they had last time, but they had more people sign up in advance this time. But people can walk in too. And so we promoted it. They featured me on their podcast and they released it in conjunction with the blood drive here. And so they'll continue to come back every other month or so with it.
So they associated at all with the Red Cross?
They're partners. I mean,
Oh, okay.
aren't in competition with each
Mhm.
other. They're both
Going after. this
support
thing,
each
yeah.
other because it's such a vital need. And they do this at some other libraries, and Chief Jones recommended them as a good organization to work with, and it's been great. I'm so happy to have the opportunity in the community and help save lives. So I have on here that we're gonna recognize volunteers who have donated 100 hours or more. That's how, there he's here. That's how Carol used to do it, but we might actually do it a tiny bit differently than I put here, but I will present at the Noodles and Doodles and recognize our volunteers. Free spaghetti, there's a vegetarian and a meat option, and everyone is welcome. We do recognize volunteers during it, but it's meant to be just everyone from the community come to hang out with each other and have some food.
Are you gonna present?
I will, yeah, and Susan will too,
Yeah.
or, yeah,
Yeah, she's
or at
put
least
it
a
out
pen.
there that we should be there.
Correct, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and Emily's helping me with we do this a small token of appreciation.
Yeah.
And Emily's helping me with that part. Okay.
So how many do we have from the library then?
I don't know exactly yet, because we're not gonna do it by 100 hours this time exactly. We're gonna have like a few different categories, so you better be there to be.
Everyone
recognized.
should see.
Why would I go someplace I can't eat the
All of
food?
you on the library, your volunteers, remember, so please come and be appreciated.
But they have gluten-free noodles?
That, I
No,
doubt,
that's okay.
that I doubt, but
I can just eat the sauce.
just leave the sauce.
The sauce, yeah.
Exactly, sauce and salad.
And some cream in it, it'll be a soup.
Yes.
Yes. But anyway. Right, so,
Oh, we have
that is, hi Larry, that's it for my report.
There's Larry.
I think you have one more person waiting.
Oh,
Mhm.
Ellie's here.
Oh, good.
Everybody's.
How do you see her?
Oh, I can stop sharing, but then you won't be able to see the stats, so.
Yeah. That's okay.
Oh,
I'm trying to not go ahead of you this time.
oh,
Statistics.
okay. Well, I was waiting. Is Ally here?
Yeah, yes, I'm sharing my screen right now, but
Oh,
I'll go back to the other screen after we
okay.
get through the statistics, and I just wanted it up on the screen in case anyone had questions and tried to print it out.
Right, okay.
I love these infographics, by the way.
That is with Excel, believe it or not. It
Really?
is, and I copied it from Cedar Mill, and then Eric made it more North Plainsy
Okay.
for us.
Mhm.
Library statistics.
Yeah, so our wonderful infographic, what I try to do with this infographic is to illustrate our I guess the outcomes that are funding, you know, all the outputs we have in a given month and kind of what it takes to run a library and what we accomplish with that. So you can kind of see, February is a short month. We usually have about 3,000 people a month visit the library. That is almost our entire city population. We have, generally, we're a net lender, which means we send out more items for holds to other libraries in Washington County than we receive. So people love our collection and we share it. We share everyone shares their books at the different libraries. We're open 52 hours a week, and then we show how many items were borrowed from our collection, the items we own. And at the top, that number is kind of the countywide number, how many items are checked out from people from our building. So our items get used more. More of our items that we own get used than items are checked out from our building itself. Does that make
So
sense?
a lot of
There's
them are
two
being
numbers.
sent out to the other libraries.
Yeah.
And then this kind of illustrates how our programming numbers, how many volunteer hours, how many staff hours we have in February. Does anyone have any questions?
And these are we've worked with, Robin on this and Eric.
Yep, Eric.
And this is how we've formatted to give us the information we need to our metrics to follow how the library is performing.
That's
And
right.
to make sure that if we see something that we try to adjust to keep the numbers where we expect them to be.
Yep. Yep, and we can just kind of see trends this way and so forth. We did a year wrap up.
Yeah.
The second part of the statistics is the countywide checkouts. This is interesting because it kind of shows you where North Plains is in relation to the rest of the member libraries in Washington County. It also breaks down. It also breaks down the how many checkouts are how many checkouts are digital versus physical. And that's interesting. And then how many are renewals, so you have like a first time checkout, you have a renewal, which we have automatic renewals now. So after 3 weeks, if no one's waiting, it'll automatically renew. And then we have the digital checkouts. If you're registered at North Plains Library, we get that digital checkout number assigned to us in this report. And so we are we're, one of the smallest libraries, and for our size, we do a pretty good, we have good activity. And our circulation ups and downs are really, we see a direct correlation between how many items we add the month before in our checkout numbers. So those new items really do drive the checkouts.
Robin, what's the difference between Polaris checkouts and Overdrive checkouts?
Oh, yeah, Polaris, and this is kind of an internal thing, that's why it has library terms, but Polaris is the name of the software we use to make library cards and check out items to people and so forth. That's Polaris. Overdrive is the digital library.
Got it, okay.
So the physical items are checked out via Polaris, that's the ILS. The library system, integrated library system. And that is on the county network. The county owns all of this data. We don't own any of the library card data. It's all owned by the county because they pay for Polaris, they pay for all the digital items. Thank you. It's on their servers.
Any other questions?
Hey, Tim, I don't know if this is happening from my angle, it looks like your flashlight is on your phone.
Oh,
I'm prepared in case.
Down in the corner there, down in the corner there.
okay, thank you. Any other? Okay, we'll move on to the financial report.
Yeah, and I just did a big printout of it, in case anyone wanted to look at it on the table.
Oh, you got a
I
slide.
did the
Thank you.
giant copy,
Oh, there's a good
but
one.
the nice thing about this report, which is also in Excel and done by Eric Danko, our library assistant too. It's, we do all of our we track our budget internally to the penny for the library department. We have, the city has a general ledger in Springbrook. That's like the system the city pays for that does our payroll and our general ledgers in there and all that kind of thing. But for the library department, we have our own internal spreadsheets because we break down our budget further than the budget expense lines you see on this dashboard. But it all kind of goes to this dashboard. So for example, if you look at, well, personnel is always gonna be the largest expense in a library. So our non-personnel part of our budget is only about $100,000 a year. And the two biggest buckets in that are our items we buy for checkout and our programming.
So here's,
That's like, you know, the
Personnel
things
here.
that Emily does, story time and so forth. If you look at the programming line, it's like near the bottom, like 5 from the bottom. That number, and this is a 2-year budget, by the way, so, that number is further broken down in our internal spreadsheets by function. So we have like a teen budget, we have a volunteer budget, we have this is where your snacks are from, the volunteer services budget. And we have the, just like library events and summer reading budget, blah, blah, blah. So, that is all. We track all our expenses and it then goes into those line items. We have. One thing that's difficult to predict is kind of grants and donations, so we had an unusual amount of grants during this budget cycle in a good way. We had two $20,000 grants for the American Library Association and the Association for Small Rural Libraries. So we didn't expect that and budget for that. So what we do in that case is, we have this grants expenditure line. And so we don't budget to spend anything out of it because it doesn't have anything in it when we make the budget. But then we use that because we need to account for everything that comes in and goes out. And it's not, it's extra stuff, so it shouldn't go in another budget line because we need to tell the grant people that we spent it how we said. So it doesn't go to our operations, it goes to this special thing. And so that's why it's in its own line. And so we can illustrate that and keep it separate. But we still also always show everything we spend. So we're on great track for the budget this year. We're a little under in personnel just because our library, we haven't had a vacancy a lot of the year.
We used to track it every meeting, but we were doing so well, we had other things to do. So hopefully we each look at it in our packet. And if we find something out of orderly, we take it for questions.
Yeah.
So I think we've grown a little bit in the past. Ellen does an excellent job.
Yeah, remember when you interviewed me, David, you said, how are you at budgeting? And I was like, actually, it's one of the strengths, I think. Right? Do you remember that?
I do.
David was on the panel.
So, any questions on the budget? Okay, so next thing is ongoing business, and we have one bit of ongoing business. Is Larry with the new council person here?
Let me stop
Andy,
sharing.
we thought we each introduced ourselves to her. How long we've been on the board, and Ally also, and what are our main reason for serving on the board? So if you could start off, Larry, and then Ally, if you could, when he's finished, speak up for yourself, if you would, please. Thank you.
Okay, so Ellie, you want to go first or me?
It's coming
Me,
out of that.
okay. So Larry Gonzalez, North Plains resident, a longtime library user. I have been on library boards for cities and counties, California or Southern Oregon and North Plains. And so I love my library. I check out a lot of books, read a lot of books, and happen to be serving on the board for the last few months. I think since I don't know what, June or July or something like that. Could be April.
Okay. Thank you. Ally?
Hi, I'm Allie Pollock. I think will have been on the board 4 years. In June, I am serving on the board. I saw the ad online and I applied because I have a reading endorsement certification. I'm an elementary teacher, so I have a passion for early literacy. And I saw an opportunity to get involved in my community and I wanted to do so. So here I am.
Thank you. Thank you, Larry and Ally. Okay, so ongoing business, we go over, I don't know if you're aware of this, but the commissioners of Washington County have funded a look at the Washington County cooperative library system on how to improve it and what meet the needs of the people. Because this year is the county-wide levy is up for vote
In November.
in November, and so we've been following it just to make sure that we are able to answer any questions that the community raises and able to support the levy when it appears in November. So we get an update monthly at each board meeting on where they are in the process.
Thank you, Tim. That is correct. We really count on the library board's advocacy when it comes to levy time. And I, as a staff person, I can't campaign for the levy. I can provide facts to people. But you'll have an opportunity to be involved in the PAC if you'd like. There will be distributing signs and that kind of thing. And so I can let you know about those opportunities. I just can't like participate the same way you can
Yeah.
as a board.
I've got a question about
Yes.
that. Cause I know when I was on both in the council and as a mayor, you, in those positions, you could not go out and campaign as that position, okay, just like you're not able to. Does that doesn't affect this board?
Well, so these aren't elected positions. This is an advisory board. So when it comes to something like a measure, like a levy, you.
That makes sense.
If you're saying I'm Donna on the library board
Yeah.
and you have to vote yes, like you can't really do that because you're. It's you as an individual. So like if you were to talk on the news or something, you should say, I'm Donna, I'm a member of the library board, but I'm speaking as an individual right now. And encouraging you to vote yes. But just like me, you can tell everybody the facts and you can go, it's a little bit easier for you on your own time to do some of those things.
Yeah, I think we can answer questions from our point.
But I'll go
There,
over all
but-
that when it gets closer, don't worry.
Yeah,
I'll go over it with
we did
everybody.
this last time.
Yeah.
And we can answer questions there, but if we wanna, but then we have to take our library board hat
Mhm.
when off and say, but as a citizen or of the county, I want to encourage you to support this and vote.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
So, yes,
that's totally
basically, that's fine.
And I
Okay,
can do
so
that.
so I'm hearing that it really does affect us in the same sort of way. And it's being
As being
elected
a
versus
board.
non-elected is kind of what I was wondering what that
Yeah,
line
Their,
was.
their rules are a little,
yeah.
last time we went over, I can't remember exactly, but they were a little stricter than what we have.
Yeah, you're right. When you're in your library board role, as you are, when you're representing the body, it is a little different. And like I said, we go over every election, what we can and can't do the same for staff
Yeah.
and so forth. So if we go over it too much now, you'll forget.
Yeah, but the city council, I think they have, if you're an elected official, they have
Yeah.
a little more.
You have a little more,
Tighter rules on what they can do than, we have more freedom to express ourselves than they do. Right.
in some ways, yes.
Any
But-
other questions on that?
Well, I did want to give a little update on the funding and
Okay.
governance
Yeah,
project. So it is related to what Tim was saying about the levy and so forth. They did polling, so they're, because this is a very important levy and it's kind of tied in with this reorganization. They are doing 2 rounds of polling, and the county hires a firm to do that. And they, I think they had 300 people that they polled. And what they're trying to do is figure out what's the best levy rate to put on the ballot. And so they're, as we're planning the budget and we were going through this funding process, they're gonna have to go for an increase. So they were polling a 10-cent increase and a 15-cent increase.
I believe that if I understand things right, Washington County is having some financial problems.
Yep,
And I've heard some fairly large numbers of what they will be required to reduce their budget, their operating budget too. So I'm sure in order to try to keep the library system there, this is one way they can get additional revenue. If you remember last year, I think we froze. We didn't get an increase. We just carried over
we got 1%.
1%, and we'd usually been 3%.
Our IGA is
Yeah,
3%,
yeah.
but there's
We usually get
caveat in
a
there.
3%, and we got 1%, but fortunately, the city, the good people of North Plains decided to make up the difference.
yes,
So we as a library,
We're able to maintain
did not suffer
yes.
any loss, so
Yeah.
that was thing, but this year will be probably even a little tighter with the county. I think it's pretty significant. I've heard $200 million, but I think that's pretty significant.
The good news is
It's gonna
they
be
are
changed.
saying we'll have a 2% increase to our allocation this year. Because we're participating in this funding and governance process, that's kind of good faith. Well, it's not the 3% that's in our contract, but it's still more than last year. So we get about $200,000 a year towards our operations from the county. And that's about 35% of what it costs to run the library here.
On another note, then, I'm hearing that the federal government isn't going to be funding libraries like they have in the past. Do you know how much that could affect?
I
This
did
library?
forward you an email from the
Yeah.
state librarian, a statement on that. I forwarded that to the board, so please, and I asked if you all wanted it perhaps on a future agenda
Mhm.
to
Yeah,
discuss.
So we'll discuss it.
We didn't have time to read
Right.
it this time really, but we'll put it.
Cause that will
we'll-
affect
we
this
will,
too, then.
It's
Not
a
Not
local
so much,
district.
oh, okay.
It's around $2.5 million for the state overall.
Oh,
the
okay, so
state,
it's not that big a
federal.
deal.
And it's allocation.
We're not super dependent on that, thank goodness,
Okay.
unless we were to go for a grant, it's distributed
Yeah.
through grants, and they're very difficult grants to apply for, that they're almost not worth the staff time to take,
Yeah.
so. The ALA grant, on the other hand, is
We
not
will-
federal, and
we will put that on the agenda for
Yeah.
next.
yes,
For next.
someone has already asked that be put on the agenda, so we
Right,
will.
yes, I saw that, yeah.
It is concerning though, and it affects staff morale.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
But one thing you have to realize is that what's happening is this, for the state, and the state will be required to make up money
difference.
that they no longer get from the federal government,
Mhm.
which will be somewhat of a trickle down effect.
Yeah,
Effect through the whole state, because I'm sure that most there, I don't know about the city of North Plains, if you guys get any money from the state or not, but
Oh, yeah.
that'll become,
They do.
that'll be tough. That's the big thing is you're gonna.
It is an
It's a
uncertain
very-
time,
a very uncertain
budget
time.
wise, for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
So the polling results actually came out about the same for 10 cents or 15 cents increase.
Oh,
And so, the county, these results were presented to the County Board of Commissioners, and so, they're interested in going ahead for the 15 cent increase. I think that so that would make it 32 cents. It's 20, no, that was 10 cents, 37 cents. Cause it's 22 cents right now. So
To increase it.
so it comes, I think it's about $75 a year for the average household or so. So it's a real bargain for what you get from your public library. And it's, I think it's over $1 for Multnomah that they pay in taxes,
Oh,
over
wow.
$1 per thousand. So we're like a super good bargain in Washington County, just saying. All right, so that is the update, that's how that polling went. They're gonna do another round of polling in May. And then they will do the recommendation to the Secretary of State for the rate for the ballot. And we will all be letting people know all of the facts about what we will and will not be able to provide with whichever way that goes.
Okay.
All right, now I am done. With that, thank you.
We'll go on to new business, again. I say we're happy that you appreciate the classes that we put on, that's very important to us, and we think that our staff does a great job. And we like to be involved in our staff, their presentations, so we have them when we have time, come over and tell us what they're doing. So Emily, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much for having
I'm gonna
me.
share the screen, so Emily, you can see Emily's presentation if you're online.
And while we're setting up, I would love for Elaine to just take a second to introduce herself to the group.
My name is Elaine Bufel. I live in Rock Creek. I was looking for a volunteer, something to volunteer. I'm a retired preschool teacher. And Carol Lofgren, who I think a lot of you know, is a good friend of mine. And she said, why don't you go out to the North Plains Library? So a little over a year, I think I've been where I happened to link up. Emily was doing story time on Wednesday morning and she said, would you like to be with me? And it's wonderful for a
It's been
preschool
wonderful.
teacher.
We have a lot in common.
Yeah.
Our
we have a good
passions and our
time.
interests.
Yeah, we have a good time
So
together.
she started with story time and then I said, please help me with ABC special. So, thank you.
Yes, it's been very nice for me to have something that I enjoyed so much and that I feel like I can give back to because of my background.
Yes.
And yeah, you're really helpful. My son always revolves.
It's so fun to get to know the children and the parents.
I'm just gonna pass around a few items that we use for our agency 1, 2, 3's class, and I'm gonna give you a little overview about me. And like I said, I started out as a volunteer here at the library, in 2016. And I started in Oregon Battle of the Book, weekly book club for elementary kids back in 2016. And they kind of liked what I was doing as far as youth programming goes. So I was hired first as a consultant to do book babies and story times. And then later on hired as your early literacy specialist. So I have another here. Okay, good. My background is actually in literacy. After I received my college degree, I became certified in adult literacy and also certified in the Wilson reading curriculum for reading instruction. That kind of took off. The reason why I was so passionate about adult literacy is because I had a very difficult time in school because I didn't have a whole lot of support systems in place. And so I struggled a little bit, and somehow I got motivated by my mentor that I had, and I went to college and I made it through, and I had an opportunity to work after graduation at a family literacy program. And that's when I was first introduced to adults who were reading under a second grade level. And I didn't even know that that existed until I started working at the Stanley Literacy Program. My goal was to first start working with the children. And they needed a substitute for the adult literacy side of the program. And I started teaching adults under a second grade reading level that changed my life forever. I was really just passionate about teaching people to read, and I never looked back. It's all I've done. So, while I was working, and this was in Knoxville, Tennessee, I published a curriculum, through the Center of Literacy Studies with the University of Tennessee. They asked me to write a curriculum, about adult literacy orientation and how to motivate adults to come back to school and learn. And that became pretty successful, and it was distributed nationally, so.
Yes,
That's
it
why
was.
I published a book, a curriculum. And it was successful enough that I was then asked to come and be a consultant for the National Institute for Literacy. Where that was I was honored to do that work. I did that for about 10 years while I still was in the adult literacy classroom. And what that meant was I traveled to Washington DC, worked with literacy experts, and we formed a framework for adult literacy that really changed the way adults learn in a classroom setting. Instead of learning kindergarten type curriculum, we wrote adult curriculum that made sense to them, that was purposeful for them. That later led to me being a national certified training expert for adult education. So that's my background in adult literacy.
And fun fact, our state librarian is also from Tennessee.
Oh, that's right. Yes,
Oh, that's
Wendy
funny,
is
isn't it?
amazing, and we both went to the same college.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's fun.
so, yeah, it gives me cold chills.
Future state librarian.
And it's great to have that bond. So she knows my area and she knows that background that we have in Tennessee. And we actually became a leader in the nation for
Wow,
adult education reform.
we're lucky to have you.
We are so
here.
lucky. Was making minimum wage here when I started.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
as a library assistant.
Yeah, I'll just tell you,
Yeah.
but I was thrilled to be here. Absolutely
I
thrilled.
know, but
But I always wanted the library to be my special place. I didn't want to work at a library. It's like my safe place, right? When I was little, I loved it, but I still love it.
that's great.
So-
We're trying to keep it up.
I thank you for the background.
Yes.
I feel like we are really blessed to have
Oh,
you.
thank you, thank you. Let me tell you what happened. So I had kids, right? And I had to step away from my national work. I even met my husband on an airplane when I was traveling for the National.
David.
Yeah, and so I said, okay, I think we should get married and have babies, and so I had to step back from that role. So hard to do that, being a mom, you want to be there for your kids, but I was so passionate about my work, and so I started, of course, teaching them to read as soon as I could, because I'd seen the repercussions of not being able to read as an adult. And it just was heartbreaking in so many ways. And so I started writing curriculum for my kids. And one thing led to another, and Charlton Hills Park and Rec hired me and had me write curriculum and scope and sequence of curriculums and programs for them. And I did that for 10 years. And that overlapped my work here at North Plains Public Library until I picked up more hours so I could move here. We moved to North Plains in 2015. I was in Beaverton before. And I just love North Plains. We wanted some acreage to have some chickens and dig in the dirt and raise our kids on a farm, and that's what we're doing.
And makes killer chili.
Oh, yeah.
How many trophies?
I have 5.
5.
Yes, and that was a
If
lot
you
of
weren't
fun.
already impressed.
So recently, thanks to Robin's support, I also have become a regionally certified Baldrige examiner. And what that means is I'm an examiner for continuous improvement methods and methodologies across the state of Oregon, Idaho, and Washington.
Especially for government, right?
Yes, yeah,
Awesome.
yeah, thank you.
And also consults with the state
I
on
do.
statewide training.
Yes, so I am a consultant for, professional development consultant for the state library. And I do
Wow.
that every week on Friday afternoons after I leave here on my own time, and
And the president of the marching band.
yes.
for what-
And also served on, the Oregon Library Association's board for executive board.
Yes.
For 3 years.
President of the Children's Services
Yes.
Division.
Yes, and so I love all that I do. You already know the mission, vision, and focus areas for North Plains Public Library. Robin has been a very strong advocate of your mission, vision, and your focus areas and goals and objectives. I just wanted to show you kind of what this ABC's class does, how it aligns with
that
our
was
mission.
from
and vision.
yesterday.
Yeah, it's just yesterday. Long story short, we are all about lifelong learning in our library. the classes, the programs that we offer, this is the hub of North Plains. Like, it's the cool place to be, right? We're teaching people all sorts of important skills, all sorts of wonderful things that really just enrich their lives, right? And part of that is teaching kids not only early literacy skills like colors and shapes and social emotional skills, but I really want them to learn to read. And so we know that there is some research out there that the earlier they learn to read, the easier it is that they read, and their reading development becomes faster and faster.
And we know that need in Oregon right now. We've seen the
Oh.
dismal test scores.
Absolutely, yeah. So this goes back to my adult literacy world. What skills do people need as parents, citizens, and workers? We know that they need lifelong learning skills. We know that we need interpersonal skills to get along with others. We know that we need to have decision-making skills. That includes math and problem solving. And we need communication skills, and that's the reading, the writing, the speaking. All of those are really, and listening, those are all very important skills. This is saying that, playing a fishing game. So my course philosophy, and Elaine is right there with me, is student-centered learning. The students are what it's all about. The kids, the patrons, the families that come in, they're our entire purpose, really. We have to have a motivated, knowledgeable teacher and a volunteer with the same kind of background. So she knows when I'm up there doing something, what's the point? She knows the objective. She knows what we're trying to get to, right?
Even though it just seems like songs and, you
Yeah.
know, names, it has a lot more.
Exactly. Everything we do is research-based, education and sound curriculum, culturally responsive practices that build social emotional skills, and we are very collaborative. We want to make sure that they're not only using these things in the library, but they're taking them home, and it's making a difference in their lives and the future of our community of North Plains. So, just real quick, I'd like you to read this.
What?
And there's a code, if it helps you. Go ahead and read that real quick. Come on now, we're short on
We
time.
begin. Familiar things.
Mhm.
Wow.
Okay, you got it? Did you get it? Y'all are adults, right? You got it. Okay, so now I have some questions about what you just read. So. Where does this passage take place?
Last slide.
I'll let you look at it even. You can look back and review. Yeah, you can review what we wrote and what we read. Yeah.
I have
How
no
many cells are
clue.
in the body? Yeah. So that's kind of what it looks like to people who are learning to read. If you
Wow.
give a book to a child or an adult who is struggling to read, or who has someone who has a learning challenge or a reading challenge, this might be what it looks like. And so the first thing you feel maybe when you look at this is what?
I'm an idiot.
I'm an idiot. I am confused. I felt overwhelmed when I saw this. And
I don't want to do this.
I don't want to do this. And that's how a lot of people feel if the approach is not correct. If we are overwhelming someone with learning and it's in a wrong approach, the chances are they're not going to continue with that learning. They're going to leave. They're going to walk away. They're going to just ignore it. So we want learning to be fun. And we want to do it in a systematic baby step scope and sequence, right? So what if we did something different? What if we taught you all the secret code, all those sounds, right, in that passage? Then you understand all how it works together. You could break down all those words. You broke the code. The secret code has been broken, and now you can read it. And there's the passage. And now it looks much easier because you know the code. You have been taught the secret code of reading. And you're very fortunate that you are able to do that. Yeah. So moving along, we know that Oregon just this last year had the 4th worst reading average in the nation, the worst.
Yeah.
Yes.
It just came out.
And I have the link here. I think visuals help. So this is just a local TV station. Here's the chart, and you can just, I'll try to scroll down slowly for you. This is in reading. I think, where's this math? We'll see.
Oh, wow.
No, this is reading. So there we are.
There you
And that's community.
Sorry, it's so small.
Oregon.
So what,
We are.
We're at the very bottom of
Fourth.
reading.
31% can read.
Yes.
And below us are Alaska, New Mexico, and Puerto Rico.
So that's the need for us. That's the need for what we're doing.
And I assume it's in
Sure is.
English.
Yes, it is. Yeah. So the need is real. And that's why what you're doing is so important. What you're doing for our library as a board member, sorry, I lost my page here, is so important. What we're doing with ABCs 1, 2, 3s is so very important. And we also know we have some great elementary schools here. We have some fantastic teachers, but there's some
Thank you,
struggles.
Ellie.
Yeah. So we also know this little teeny, the icon here is basically says there's about 0 to, I can't read it, sorry. I'm
Do you
getting
want
older.
me to help you make
About
it full
0.
screen?
Go back to the presentation here. I lost my presentation mode.
It's just,
Here it is.
yeah,
Thank
there
you.
you go.
So it's about 0 to 5 to 10% are just natural readers. They'll just pick it up and they'll run with it. They can see a whole word and they go, oh, I'm gonna memorize that word. I know it forever. And it's so easy. But we also know about half of the people out there need really explicit instruction, transparent instruction on how words are put together with sounds. So what ABCs 1, 2, 3s does with Elaine's help, we provide explicit and intentional instruction. We are thinking purposely about what it is we're trying to do for kids that are coming into our library learning to read. We want them to be excited about reading. We want them to love it. We want them to know they can do it. So it's an approach about how they feel about learning and what they actually are cognitively learning at the same time. We also make sure we break down the instruction into easy, small parts so that they feel really engaged and motivated about it. And this is Cruz and Molly and Santa. So who are our North Plains ABCs participants? We have 5 5-year-olds who also went to kindergarten orientation this evening. We have 4-year-olds, we have 22 of them. And we have 7 3-year-olds. This class is geared for 3 to 5-year-olds. If we do, in the past, we have had separate levels as they grow up, and learn more, then we disperse those ages a little bit more. So we would have a level 1 at age 3, level 2, and then moving on, or whatever age they need to be based on their level. We don't just say you have to be this age. It's whoever needs the program. They live in North Plains, Hillsborough, Banks, Beaverton, and one family drives from Gresham. every single day.
Wow.
And in the
Just
past
for-
during
Just
COVID,
for this?
just for this one class,
Wow.
1 hour class, they come every week. We've had people from all over the world during COVID.
Yeah.
The state, the state, when we turn in statistics to the state, they called me to say, you must have added a 0 to your program statistics, because there's no way you had 9,000 participants. You know,
that's
during the
amazing.
pandemic, I said, we were the only library who did live early literacy stuff.
Yeah,
Everyone
and-
else did
and-
recorded
yes,
stuff,
yeah.
and we'd have 100 people
Yeah.
on.
And to give you an example, the year before, we were at 1,000, I think 15, around 1,500, I think, participants in our early literacy programming. And the very next year, we hit 9,000, over
Wow.
9,000.
And we were recognized
Word
by
got
Senator
around.
Solomon. Emily was
Yes.
recognized by Senator Solomon.
Well, and the library.
Well, we were both determined that kids would not
Absolutely.
stop learning during the pandemic.
Absolutely.
And if I can
Definitely.
inject,
Yes, please.
I've had parents tell me they came out to this library because we have families that are coming like from the Bethany area. Well, the Cedar Mill Library is a wonderful library, but it's big.
Mhm,
It's very overwhelming,
Mhm.
especially if English isn't their first language.
mhm.
And just by word of mouth, they come out, and it's wonderful. I had one mom tell me, my English is getting so much better coming.
That I concur.
And that hits on, we have such a diverse background. We want to be equitable. We want to be providing these classes to everyone. We have 5 different languages spoken in this one
That's
1 hour
amazing.
class. It's incredible. And sometimes it gets loud because they are translating.
I learned new songs.
So what are the skills for for reading? We would know that phonemic awareness is very important. Phonics, fluency, vocabulary, text comprehension, oral language writing, all of these things must occur at the same time, all while doing it in a sequential order. And I'll give you the slideshow if you want to take notes on it. What is the difference? Just a couple of things in our vocabulary there. Phonological awareness is more focused on the oral, the speaking. Can you clap out syllables? Can you hear the separation of the sounds when you say like campground? So you're starting to hear sounds and the differentiating parts of those. Phonics is more of what we focus on when we're being really transparent about here's a letter, here's a sound, this is how it fits together to make a word. And there's some other definitions in there for fluency. We have to be able to read fluently in order to gain understanding. We need to know vocabulary, and so comprehension is actually pretty much the goal for what we're doing when we're reading. And this is kind of where my adult literacy, I love this slide so much. So adult literacy back in the day, they would teach the yellow square. This is the word mat. Say mat. Yeah, memorize mat. Don't forget it, right? Now we understand that if we break those sounds apart, not only are they learning the word mat, but they're learning that M says and if they see it in another word, they know that. If they see an A, they know that sound, and they might see it in 100 different words. Same thing with the letter T. So we're teaching them to sound out each letter and put it together to make a word instead of just this memorization of words. And I like to call it peanut butter and jelly. So the vowels are the peanut butter and jelly, and your consonants are pieces of bread. If you don't have the peanut butter jelly in the middle, what happens to the bread? It falls apart. So you have to have the vowels in the center to keep it all together, right? So we talk a lot about peanut butter and jelly, or sun butter if you have an allergy. We use a scope and sequence that is very much aligned with the University of Florida's Literacy Institute. There's ways in which we teach people to read. It's based on lots of times how often a letter is used in the English language. We do introduce the letters in a sequential order, A, B, C, D, but I kind of intertwine CVC development in there, sentence structuring in there. So we're getting kind of a mixture of all these different systems that are known to really work.
And they're having so much fun and they have no idea they're learning.
That's
amazing.
See, they're playing, it's play.
Yeah.
I'm gonna apologize because I know I'm not gonna be able to stay for your whole presentation, it
It's
looks
okay,
like.
it's almost done, I
My-
promise.
My 3 kids are having a jazz band performance tonight and Emily's gonna for us half this meeting. But so if I leave,
Okay. You're
that
not
you know
upset?
why,
Okay.
I'm gonna stay as long as I can.
Okay, great. I'm gonna speed it up too, because I know we're going over. So there's also things that we need to teach them later on, digraph that make one sound. There's all these things they need to know. So, it's very important that they have all those pieces and they know the code. And so there's lots of feedback in this slideshow. If you'd like to take a look, they're talking, lots of parents are saying, love that it's free. They can't afford preschool. They've had struggles with their kids wanting to learn how to read. And then this is just some of the worksheets that we use, activity sheets, activities that we do during our classes. Thanks to Elaine, she's always helping me with those. And evaluations are coming in. We just wrapped up yesterday, a 10-week series in person and online. And we're getting some tremendous feedback, and I can share that with you when we have more time.
And I got to do the commencement address.
You
So
did.
it was super fun. That was oh, there he is.
So they received a certificate and
They were so excited too to get that.
they were, and Miss Robin gave a
Yeah,
speech, and then they all got a little 2 gifts actually. This was one of them, and two of the other. So they know they can put together CB, consonant, vowel, consonant words with their letters, and they got a little fishing game with all the letters on it.
Oh,
So, and
Yeah,
a
fun.
grand certificate.
Yeah.
So the evaluations are coming in. I could show them to you. Gotten some great feedback. Let's see if I can. I'm not gonna be able to here, sorry.
Will we be able to see your commencement address?
Yes, yes.
I will tell you, it has something to do with the letter R. And
See if I can just show you, if you have time, real quick, just show you a response really quickly here. I've gotten a few already coming in. Again, parents are busy, so they're gonna need a little bit more time. Oh, let's see responses, yeah. So here's just an example of what we're getting. We're getting 4 responses already from our class that has 12 attendees on average. So how did you hear about this class? Your child enjoyed the class? And this is not at all, very much. 5 is not at all, I'm kidding. You are spending more time doing early literacy activities with your child. Your child is showing more interest in learning their letters and sounds. And again, we have a 3 to 5, so
Yeah.
don't be shocked if you see that 25%, 75%. We've got different age levels in there. By taking this class, your child is able to sound out some CDC words. Again, no one's saying no, no one's saying none, which is great. Yeah. And here's the sentences. So that's the real upper level of learning to read is when they're reading sentences. But 50% of our responses so far say thank you.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And some of them are 3.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Some of the
Yeah.
ones that are reading are 3.
Three.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I'll just tell you this, on average, I have collected this information for a very long time, for at least, what is it now, like 17 years for this class. And on average, they are, when they enter kindergarten, they're reading on a 2nd grade level. Brianna can speak to that
And we
as
had
well.
parents tell us
Yeah.
that from North Plains.
Yeah. Quality teaching and learning activities. You feel more confident in helping your child learn basic reading skills. Would you recommend the class to others? And then here's just some of their comments that you would like to look at.
After one class with Emily, he started reading. Whoa.
He didn't want to read before. And again, it's the approach.
Yeah.
It's the approach.
I have to say too, it's because Emily takes this calm, flowing approach. She does, it's not like you have to sit and learn this right now. Parents are talking to the kids. I mean, it's not a quiet afternoon, it's a busy afternoon.
It is.
But because Emily leads it that way, it makes it, the parents enjoy it more, the kids enjoy it more.
And I'd say that the 2 key words, if you really want to leave with, like, what is this all about? It's about intentionality and interactivity.
Mhm.
That's really what it's about. And I think all of our programs are like that. We're intentional about what we're providing, and we really like it to be interactive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed that.
Oh, indeed.
I feel so. No, they're still there. So basically, when it's over, you just end
I was
the
supposed to be
recording.
there to join.
Everybody, I'm sorry.
If you can
extend that.
Yeah.
No, they're here.
Yeah, so like.
Thank you all.
Just
Thank you.
It's because I quit my job, so, yeah, because I was at the class. I come from. I cannot move there, so I quit in January.
There it is.
Okay. Yeah, I took a call. He has paternity leave. Okay.
Okay, so that's taking my computer around.
You're gonna stay on Zoom all the time.
I know. This is the first time ever I was sitting at home. And it was
Did
so-
you just know
I was
Larry
still
and
in
Ally on?
They're on.
No,
They were-
Sorry, I shut the computer.
I mean, last week.
Enjoy, Robin.
Everything, so we were not forcing him to be.
So we'll, the next item on the agenda is, thank you very much.
Having.
Next item is, I think we have 3 board members whose terms are up. I know myself, mine is up, and,
Mine's up. I
and,
think.
yeah.
And then,
I don't know if mine's up or not. I think I have another year. I was thinking I was up this year, but.
Yeah, so, but,
Ally, are you up?
yeah.
Oh, okay, that's the other one.
okay, so there's our 3. So we just looked up there's a limit, and we all know of 2 terms, 2
Mhm.
4-year terms. But if you want to reactivate your second 4-year term, what's required of you? And that is that, a sitting member of a board, commission, or committee may be reappointed to a board, commission, or committee by the council without an application process. each of us submit the one, if we want to seek another term. We need to, the member of the board, commission or committee request reappointing in writing. We need to request our right, that we would like it again. And basically what we've done in the past is just refilled out our application. So if you want to reapply, we should just stop by the city office and get another application and reapply for your term.
You can't get one online?
Oh, maybe you can.
You can.
Yeah, I
Oh,
would think you would be able
okay.
to, yeah.
Get it online. I'm still, you're younger than I am.
By months, probably.
And that's the way we go about it, and but the city council has to waive the requirement for an open application process, and so, but if you. Whether that'll happen, we don't know, but but if you do want to we just, right now, you just need to reapply. That would be for
Donna. and you.
Donna, myself, and Ally, yes, okay?
So wait, can somebody still apply to bump you? Or we would have to fall?
I think that if the council chooses not to reopen the position, then they don't, then they're, I'm not sure I'm speaking out of turn, but the way I read it is if we reapply, and the council accepts that, then nobody can bump
Okay,
you.
all right. Thanks. I'll read it better.
So probably the sooner the better then.
Well, yeah, if you
If you
want to
want.
do it again. See, the council has to waive the requirement for an open application process. So it's really up to them.
Right. So there isn't.
So. I'm a little, Larry, you had sent some information out for us all to read about people that volunteering.
Yeah, do you have a
within the
copy of it?
community. What?
Do you have a copy
Yeah.
of okay, yeah, so basically this is the information I shared with the city council on Monday. You know, the last city council meeting, there was an ask for, you know, some brainstorming or some ideas around getting more and not different, but more volunteers from different parts of the community, that kind of thing. So I asked for some time on the city council agenda, and I came back with basically, Portland State University did a volunteer demographic study where they came back and said, about 30% of the volunteers are 56 years or older, and that kind of maps to what North Plains has got on their volunteer boards as well. And then they also gave some, the reasons for volunteering, but the places that I kind of focused on was, how do they get, how we're people getting information about volunteer opportunities, and I kind of focused on that. I basically said, the city council has they have the greatest leverage because they're out in the community all the time. And so, one of the ideas I had is to let the city council members know that they have that kind of leverage, and to, speak out whenever they go to a public event or meeting, and let the community know about volunteer opportunities, and just kind of punch it up a little bit. And because the advertising, whether it was online or on the library bulletin board, or city bulletin board, or even in our water bill, that ranked lower, that kind of advertising ranked lower with the way volunteers find out about opportunities. So I talked a little bit about that, and then I went straight to some suggestions about how to recruit volunteers. really doing some outreach through, use your existing board, your volunteer boards. Get them, if you, want them to reach out to different parts of the community, use them to do that legwork for you. And whether PTA, Knights of Pythias, Chamber of Commerce, other affiliate groups. And so, just ideas about how to get help and get the existing boards to help you get the word out. And then my time ended, but I wanted to kind of point out to the council too about, when you're doing this kind of work, it's kind of my HR hat on here, is important that you don't discriminate. And so I just linked to the North Plains employee handbook, because it applies the restrictions on your behavior and the protections apply to the employees, the elected officials, interns, and volunteers. So I just wanted to let them know that, so we kind of keep it all legal. But the result I thought was really, good for me, in that Councilor Fage asked me if I wanted to do a kind of a volunteer booth at the ice cream social, which I completely volunteered for. So hope to follow up with the city council on that to make sure I'm doing it the way they want me to do it, and get their approval on that. So that was good.
Well, thank you. I think we each have our own story of how we came to the library board. Mine was word of mouth from another member whose term was up, and I came, and then Bridget shows up, who's been on the Friends, and it's volunteering, right?
No, I haven't been in the Friends.
No, but you have done a lot of library
Oh,
stuff.
volunteering, yeah.
Volunteering, and I didn't, so I got demoted, and I had to go back and earn my stripes and come back to the next one. So do some volunteering in the library. So that was a good lesson for me. I was much better prepared. I learned a lot about the library.
But I think most of us probably really I had to be prodded a lot.
Yeah, so.
And I I'm not sure if it's off the record, but Councilor Dumbrow sent me a really nice email saying that he's gonna do more to speak out about open volunteer board positions within the meetings that he does. So he was I don't want to say inspired, but reminded that was a good idea. And so I thought that was a positive move forward. That was good.
Okay, great. Thank
But
you.
I agree. I think a lot of people just somebody has to physically ask them and say, we really would like your help on this.
I think there's a lot of opportunities
Yeah.
to meet people where they are.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what we do. And then the couple of times I've represented the library at a couple public functions, I will always say we do have board seats, because I don't know if you're aware that we were 4-member board, I think, or 5.
And then we increased.
And we just
Seven.
increased it. It took us a bit while until David came on board to get us back
Yeah.
to our full complement after we increased it. So we like that. So anything else on that? Okay, thank you. Next thing is topics for future discussion. We have talking about the budget coming up for the biennial budget. And then we had the request to spend a little time on the impact of the federal government's bit of a shakeup on libraries in the state of Oregon, I think is what we had. Okay, anything else that you folks would like to see on the agenda or discuss? Okay, and now, David, you have an update from the Friends?
I'll give a quick one. I didn't know I'd be on the agenda, but I will be more prepared in the future.
You're on it every week.
Yeah, now I know. Now I know.
We had to get you on before we let you know that.
Yeah. So, well, a couple of things. All my time in North Plains has always been kind of difficult to get people to volunteer. I mean, we're dealing with it right up there. And, the Friends of the, library membership. We're gonna start a membership. Push, yeah, that's a good way to put it. I think we have actually 11 official members. It's cheap, $15 or $25 for a family. You can go online, and register from there. But we're gonna start pushing now. Trying to get that out there. We, right now. So we list books on Amazon, we do stuff on eBay. We do other things, as you all know, I think you're pretty up to date on the stuff we do, I'm not sure. We have a card in the library. I've just received email tonight, I don't know where we're at, but you might know, understanding of, the Friends of the Library having a bookstore out
Oh,
here.
yeah. mhm. Elizabeth
So
can talk
I
about that.
don't know any of the particulars, I just found out about it
Mhm.
today.
That would be exciting.
You probably know more than I do.
It'd be exciting. There's been some talk about
Yeah.
having a store. I don't know if you visited Cedar Mills Second Edition. I know you have. And it's just a lovely little store and be a nice place for our community to interact and engage with friends and
Yeah,
some
be
purchasing of
pretty
some
neat.
lovely items. Yeah.
so,
So who would man it though? Because you've only got 11 members, so who's going to
Uh,
actually be there when the
I
store is
have
open?
no idea.
No idea.
All I know is that she probably knows more about it than I do.
Okay.
So you-
Maybe-
You want me to-
So maybe,
So it's still very much in the planning stage,
Okay.
and the operations, though I believe would be under the Friends, it would not be.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they would be, you know,
It would
I'm
be
sure they'd have
certain
limited
hours.
hours and.
We have quite a few volunteers helping, and so
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
I think we could handle that.
Mhm.
It's interesting, we have a lot of volunteers, but not a lot of members.
oh, oh,
But I do think, oh, go ahead, Elaine.
The second edition is people like to be able to donate to something that they feel like is going to be something good for their community.
Yeah.
It's better than taking it to Goodwill. I'll take it to
Yeah.
second edition.
And also for
Oh.
me, just being a local parent that always had a birthday party last minute, oh, I forgot a present, right? What a great option to be able to have this little store that supports the library and the friends of the library, to buy a little something, and you're in a hurry, it's usually 2 hours if I have to go somewhere to get the gift and then come back and, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
and you have way more room than the little bit that you have in the library right now.
Well, and then that's another part is, we're gonna be moving here, and that's all being organized right now. Susan is, I think, doing the primary work on that, you know.
Mhm.
So this coming Saturday, we're gonna spend 3 or 4 hours. There's a Friends virtual conference. My understanding of what it is the Friends of the Library nationwide. This is how you can serve your library better, different ideas. Are you familiar with the
Mhm,
program?
mhm, mhm.
Maybe you could.
I've not attended as a friend before, but I have heard about it being it's a virtual conference where
Yes.
we can all come together and
Oh,
learn
that's
all the
neat.
different ideas that friends are doing in different areas of
Yeah.
the country.
Well, good, because I just read what comes to me and I've never attended, but that's a Saturday.
Sounds
so-
like a worthwhile thing to do.
Yeah. Susan, I don't know if you've met her, she's a fantastic person. And she's really, I mean, she's got the energy. She reminds me of the bunny,
Energize your
Yeah.
bunny.
I can't keep up with her. Fantastic. We got a good crew. I think that's about it.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Okay, Counselor Hagedorn, it's your time to update us in the city or whatever you would like to share.
Goodness, let's see, first and foremost, last Sunday, the city council and staff, spent all day in Jesse Mays. We did a, training for half of the day. And the other half of the day, we spent doing some visioning, strategic visioning and prioritizing and goal setting. So, what the work left to do with that is mapping strategic themes. And all of that work will be rolled out, I believe, the 7th of April, but don't quote me on that.
Wow.
So at least you can see what's going to inform kind of priorities and budgeting and all of that fun stuff moving forward. It is budget season, so that is another strategic conversation that I understand a lot of people will be splitting hairs about for a
Absolutely.
few months. So that's probably another thing that's weighing heavy on us that we're walking into. Let's see, and then of course, I think those are the two big things.
Who did you use to help you do the visioning?
He was I can't remember the name of his company, but he used to be the mayor of, or the city manager of Tigard.
Oh.
So he was very fun.
Oh,
Very
good.
fun. Good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's raining very hard.
Oh, yes, it is.
But hey, next week it's supposed to be sunshiny and dry.
Yes, 3 days. 3 days.
Yes.
Yeah.
My backyard needs to dry out.
But you need more heat.
I'm not stepping out of the house at all.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we are asleep throughout the day and my son will be awake now in probably 30 minutes
Yeah.
and he'll sleep at 5 in the
That's why you
morning.
came today.
You're awake all night.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
90
That's all right.
degrees, 40 degrees.
So we're happy that you made it back safely. and
Yeah.
Back here and
Yes.
helping us charge on. So, anything other good of the order announcements?
I just want to thank Elaine for being
Oh,
here and
yeah,
having
that's
such a fabulous
Be the
volunteer and a friend. I consider you my friend and I just am so
I
grateful
do
too.
And we thank you for your volunteer work.
Thank you. I've
Yes, thank
really
you.
enjoyed it. It's been
Very
a
good.
nice addition to my life.
Well, that's great. Sure,
And it is
that
fun
means
hearing
you're
them.
adding, you're probably reciprocating with nice addition to other people's lives.
Yeah.
It's a good two-way street.
Yeah, I have a question,
Very
Tim.
true.
When's your next 10 weeks?
That is something Brianna and I are discussing and we're trying to figure out the budget to make this happen again. And it does cost a little bit of money.
It is
My
a staff
hours.
intensive
It
program
is staff
Mhm.
and
intensive.
it requires more staff to be in the library
Yeah.
because of just how lively it is.
Yeah, but I will say that there were a lot of parents that were like, when are we coming back for this? So
Yeah.
we really need to make it happen somehow. And we're thinking about trying our very best to, after summer reading, getting it going again.
Oh, so that's all.
Great.
We gotta figure
Is
it
it-
out.
Is it possible to just get more just get more volunteers? Yeah, you know how easy that is. But another push for more volunteers at the library during those times?
It might be helpful, but yeah, I think we're gonna have to figure it out because it's an important thing. and
Yeah,
we Gotta
It'd
keep
be
it
nice
going.
it'd be nice to have it flow. and
Yes.
have-
Yeah.
That's one.
yeah.
And in the meantime, we're gonna have a lot of wonderful early literacy programs, youth programs for summer, teen programs, adult programs. But also lots of story times and book babies, opportunities to be plugging in those letters and sounds and numbers throughout the summer. So they won't completely be away from it. We'll integrate it into our story times.
I have another question.
Great.
Mhm. Yes.
I know Robin's not here and she'd be the one, but the hiring, the application process is closed.
Mhm.
Did you can you say we got 10 applicants, 2 applicants? What do you know?
That we can say, we received 28
Oh,
applicants.
good.
Mhm.
And when will the whole process? Next part
So
start?
with that large number, it's gonna take some time to go through them all. So I'm not sure. We would like to get, calls out soon.
Okay.
To start
28,
doing
that's a
that
big number,
process.
yeah.
Does it look like most of them have the qualifications, are qualified?
Yeah, we
Okay,
received
good.
a number of qualified applicants.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah,
Very
it's very
exciting.
exciting.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, thank you for that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good question.
yeah.
Any other questions? Right, now we have the approved future meeting date of April 23rd at 6 P.M.
Great.
All those in favor?
Hi.
Opposed? None. So we'll see you all April 23rd.
I
at
just want to
6
say,
p.m.
I will not be at that meeting. I will be in New Orleans, so
Oh.
You'll be where again?
I'll be at the Jazz and Heritage Festival in New Orleans.
Oh, that's
On my, and then on my way to Mexico after that, so I'll be
great. So
gone for about 3 or 4
we should
weeks.
expect our circulation to crash.
Yeah, soon.
He checks a ton of books.
Why not for you to say that?
Thank you for your presentation, Larry. Very helpful. All right, thanks, everyone. Thank you, Counselor.
Thank
for attending.
you.